Hey, it's the year 2020, 2022. Say that fast. Yeah, so this is a bit late. Obviously, normally my New Year's vlog comes around the 3rd, and I would have recorded on the 3rd, but I was too tired. I had a headache all day and decided, maybe it's better if I just stay in bed. But yeah, I have this coming week off and with nothing planned as of yet. So there will be time to do some recording and some editing during this coming week. And first I'm going to take a look back at 2021. 2021 was a mess. And more ways than one. Mostly regarding my education. I won't go too much into detail. It's a little it's not that it's hard to talk about, but it's things that are exterior, so to say. Like, it's not things going on as much in here or in here. It's things going on all around me, and things that I can't really do much about on my own. Like, I've tried, obviously, to have someone else help me through that, and to some extent it worked, but it also didn't. It's a little too complicated to go into. Basically, I had to stop my education temporarily back in September due to stress and my depression kicking in, and I failed an exam that, well, I didn't fail the exam, but I didn't get a high enough grade that I needed. So I've worked out a deal with the school that I'm currently on leave, which have given me sort of, for the sake of giving me time to think, is this education what I want, or do I want to do something else? And it is still what I want, so now I'm going to follow a semester that I basically completed in order to get another attempt at this exam. So that will be going on towards the summer of this year. It's kind of hard to predict what's going on. So that's why I won't go too much into it. Yeah, but that's sort of the rough overall part of this mess as it is. But in good news, I used that time of leave to get a part-time job, and I now actually have some real work experience, getting real pay, which is the first in my life, and I'm 30, so yeah, way to go. No, that was actually pretty awesome. It's a job for a market analytics firm that I basically have to collect data. So I stand out usually in the entryway to shopping centers and ask people how their shopping trip went. I'm not selling them anything, and I'm not trying to get them to subscribe to anything. I'm just asking, how was your trip shopping? What could have been improved? Was the shopping center clean? Was there all the wares that you wanted to get? That sort of thing. And I'm really pleased that I don't have to sell anything, because I don't think I could do that. I am decent at talking about what a product can do and why this product is great, but I'm a terrible liar. So if I weren't 100% behind the product, I don't think I would be able to sell it. It just isn't possible. Like, I would be way too much, yeah, well, there's also this and this and this, and those things are better, and that is cheaper, and this won't bind you, and yeah, no. I should not be selling anything. Hopefully. At least not something that I'm not 100% behind. If I find that, sure. But as stated, my thoughts is to continue my education. I am hoping to, since I passed a lot of semi-tests and certifications that this education requires, I have those, so I'm hoping I can make a deal that basically gives me a light kind of semester, so that I only have to focus on actually getting this exam, this test done, so that I can pass it, and hopefully alongside someone else, because part of the reason I failed was that I was doing it alone. And for about a third of the time that a group normally would have, so that's a big deal of it, and I'm really hoping to get that sorted. I'm speaking with the student counselor in the next week. I haven't got a set time yet, but well, that's in the works basically. But yeah, I got that. So I got that part-time job, and obviously not getting my SU, my paid student wages, as it is here in Denmark, where the government pays you to essentially focus 100% on the studies rather than having the need to get a job on the side. I love that. But obviously, since I was on leave from the education, I could not get that, so I had to basically file for temporarily being without a job. So, but that didn't last long, because I very quickly was like, since it's a 3 or 4 month period that I will go without a job, and if I'm saying, well, I don't know if I'm going back to an education, then that's basically, well, we need someone who can work with us 1, 5, 10 years maybe, so they wouldn't hire me. And basically, even with all the things going on in my head and my history of fluking out of various educations, I wouldn't have a great track record for getting into a job, and with 0 work experience, well, almost 0, and being 30 already, and basically uneducated on certain job areas that obviously they would require more skilled and trained workers, and I would be untrained and basically like, I can do that, I hope. So my chances of getting a job weren't exactly great, and I figured if I'm starting out with a part-time job, I don't have a lot of expenses. My apartment is very, very cheap, and I don't really flourish that much on extra stuff that I don't need. I don't buy a lot of things. Sure, I buy a dice set here and there, but that's about it. So really it was a matter of not so much getting I need this amount of wages and I need this amount of hours to get it sort of done. It was more like, I need something to do. Basically, because I've had periods of my life where I've been unemployed before, and those have basically been the worst part of my life, basically. I mean, obviously the stress of exam and anxiety about an exam has been bad, but they have been relatively compact periods of time. Like, it hasn't been over a long stretch of time that I've had this numbing anxiety going on in my head about what's coming next, what should I do. Where to the more than a half a year that I've been unemployed at times have been awful, because I've tried to obviously get jobs, and given that I didn't have any work experience then and weren't trained, it was basically a no. And the fact that I don't have a car means that I'm somewhat limited in my reach of places where I can go. I do have my bike, yes, but it's not like I'm going to travel 25 kilometers each way every day. That's not going to happen. I'm not in that good shape, and while I would love to, it's not like that. I mean, but I am very much reliant on a working place either being something I can do from home or something where I can take public transport to and from. So, and basically I looked up, instead of going, so when I knew that, well, I had two choices basically. It was A, going on leave and start the semester over, or B, drop out of yet another education. And so either way I was going to be unemployed. I knew that. And as soon as I had that realization, I started looking for part-time jobs instead, because sometimes you get part-time jobs that don't require much training and don't require much transportation either. So basically, I got on a local site that basically was like, these are all the part-time and full-time jobs in this area, so sign up for whatever you want. And I wrote out to a couple of shops, see if I could get some hours there, but no good. I wrote out to a newly started hotel that needed some bartenders, but nope, they wanted women to do that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm like, doesn't matter. But then I got a mail back from this marketing analytics firm that was really, yeah, that's as long as you don't have a criminal record and can be somewhat steady with your work hours and don't mind standing in the same place for about 6 hours, sure, you got the job. I was like, is that it? Really? But I had a talk with so I basically had a meeting with my team coordinator. I'm not entirely sure how high she is up in the system, but she's my coordinator, so she's the one that sends me the task and says, oh, you're in the wrong place, you should be over in this job instead. And yeah, she was really nice. And we obviously went to the shop, and she showed me the ropes, and I was like, all right, let me try. And yeah, that went all right. Now, granted, it is, given that it is usually in the weekdays, it means that given those 6 hours and in a shop, it's mostly old people without too much to do, so they have the time to actually stop and talk. So it was not really that difficult, and as I see it, I'm doing the shop a favor because I'm collecting data for them, so hopefully they can use that to improve their user experience. That's the gist of it. I mean, if they don't, that's not up for me to decide, but I'm just collecting the data, and I haven't really gotten a lot of flack for it. Like, if people say, like, I usually start by asking people, do you have time for a couple of questions about your shopping trip? Also because I look like I'm trying to sell stuff, standing there with an iPad and stuff like. But so when I start by saying that, they already got the guards down. Now, if they don't have the time and say, no, I don't have the time for that, that's it. Like, have a nice day. I obviously can't be that aggressive about it, because you don't want to get on people's nerves. You actually do want to sort of give people a good experience talking to you. So I'm also trying to small talk a bit, like, oh yeah, these sales are, yeah, they're totally nice, but do you use the store paper? Like, do you look for that for sale and offers in that, or are you doing it from the web? And yeah, it's actually kind of, it's calming in a way, because it's a routine, and I have sort of, like, I stand with an iPad like this, basically like, here's my questions, 1 to 5, how do you think, 1 to 5, next question. And it's very routine based. So, and that gives, to me, that gives room for small talk, because I can basically do the routine in my head, like, okay, then here comes a couple of questions about the store itself. How are the the people working there, how clean is it? Are there empty shelves and stuff like that? Okay, on to the next one. Then we go to sales and certain wares, and do you buy this kind of stuff? And especially one kind of question that is, or at least was, in most of the surveys that I did was, do you buy wine here? Like the particular shop had a fairly large wine selection, so I suppose that is an important question. But that seemed to rub a lot of people the wrong way, and I said, I'm not making the questions, I'm just reading them. No, yeah. So, but that was all. Like, I had an incident, well, not so much an incident, that was more a matter of miscommunication, I think, where the store owner of a place that I was going to was apparently not informed that I or someone else from this marketing firm was going to stand and ask these questions. And he was kind of up in my face about, what are you doing here? I haven't been told about this. And again, that's not my responsibility. If you haven't checked your mail, or if my marketing firm haven't sent you the mail about some people are going to stand here, that's not my fault. And it was a little bit unpleasant, but he basically, I didn't see him any of the other times that was standing there. The rest of the store workers were very nice. Like, one of them even bought me a cup of coffee, so I sure can't complain about that. Okay, regards to the the COVID-19 virus, I have not been afflicted at all, and I am quite thankful for that. I have had 2 vaccine jabs so far, probably getting my booster or third in either start February or late January, probably around February, because it's basically like, I mean, what we've done here in Denmark is that all of those that are in vulnerable positions or otherwise would be more likely to be infected by COVID have gotten a jab first. Then they have the people, caretakers, like everyone working in the care section, not for children though, so basically like for elderly people. And other important, so nurses, doctors, ambulance drivers, that kind of thing, they basically gotten the first jab. Then it was basically going from the oldest and down to, I think I was in the next to last group of adults getting it. So basically like 20 to 25, that was the last group to get it, and I was like 25 to 30, so yeah. But I've just been patient, biding my time and keeping cool and basically staying safe. As spoken about in a couple of videos, it's way back, my dad has multiple sclerosis, and while I don't know if his immune defense is vulnerable, I wouldn't want to take the chance. And also, my sister just announced here in early December that she is pregnant, so extra opportunity to make sure that nothing is, that I'm not infected. And I haven't been, and no one in my relatively small group of contacts have been. So yeah, it hasn't affected me as much. Like, there have been, but again, those have been exterior things, like my school have been open, then it wasn't open, and then you required a sign that you weren't infected, and then they had tests on the school grounds, and then they closed down again because the infection rate was too high, and that have stressed me out a bit. But those are exterior things, and I can't do anything about them. Sure, I could say I really need to be at the school, or I really need to not be at the school. and I probably could do that, given that with my mentor and all. But really, what it comes down to is like staying safe and taking no chances, no risks. So even before, so we had a relatively late when it started out in March of last year. That's when it really started to amp up, and schools were shutting down and all things to make sure. Even then, when the first case was discovered here in Denmark, that was probably early February or something like that, I started using a face mask when going to the shops. There we go. And it doesn't bother me that much. Sure, I use glasses, so I get the whole "it might fog you up," and "can you really see?" Not really, but you get used to it. Like, it's as long as I don't have to read anything, it's not that bad, and I could just be like, mask on, and then be like, wait for a couple of minutes, go into the store, so that I don't get the the temperature shift that basically would fog up my glasses. And that basically, I mean, I can still see as long as I don't have to read small things. Like, I can still read, but I need to get closer. The font needs to be fairly large if I am to read it without glasses. But that has not really been a problem. Most people that I have met we've mostly been okay with the sort of things like, okay, well, that's what we have to do, then we'll do that. There have been a few chirpers about, I don't want to do that and I don't want to get vaccinated, but it has been like, that's very, very few. And personally, I'm of the opinion that I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm not the kind of militant kind of, hey, why are you not wearing your mask in a public place? You should wear a mask. You're bringing all of us in danger. I don't do that. I want to do that, but that's not the same as doing it. And I'm basically like, I will leave that to someone else. But yeah, it's basically like, there was actually a step that they took here locally that I really enjoyed, but unfortunately they went away from it that again. And that was in the local shopping mart, they had so that you basically, if you were going in, you were going on the right side of the alleys, and if you were going out, you were going on the left side of the alley. So basically having that almost like a road essentially, rather than where it normally is, where people just sort of cluster together. And I think it was actually really nice, because like, they didn't even have any security guards or anything saying, hey, you need to walk to the other side, or anything like that. Like, it was literally just a line of yellow tape on the floor, and people were like, okay, well, we'll go to the one side of this. Like, it was sort of it was an interesting psychological experiment. Yeah, just like, they could literally just have put that tape on the floor, and I think it would have worked either way. But obviously they went out and said and spoke in public papers about, yeah, we're doing this thing and it's for your own good, so please follow it. Again, it wasn't enforced or anything, and they even shut down. So they have on street level, they have a 2-part sliding door entrance, and one of those, they basically said, you're only using that for going in, and the other one, you're only using that for going out. It took a bit for that to work, but the whole thing with the line on the floor, yeah, that really worked well. And basically every store, even non-food, has hand sanitizers standing. So, I mean, and I do have extra bottles around, so it's not like there's nothing that is done. And I feel like some people say that it is that they feel restrained. I kind of get that. I mean, sitting on a face mask is not pleasant, but you get used to it. And given the stories that you hear about people who are otherwise healthy getting COVID, and then basically having trouble breathing, and likely will have for the rest of their lives. No, thank you. No, thank you. I would rather not, especially because since I'm a Let's Player, still, I mean, I kind of have to use my voice, and to use my voice, I kind of have to be able to breathe. If not, it would be a very and that might be a fun gimmick for like one video, but no. And that is an excellent segment, because that brings me to the videos that I hope to make here in 2022. I don't know. Basically, like, a lot will become clearer after February the 1st, and whether or not I get this sort of thinned out semester due to me having the certifications. So that's what I'm hoping for, because that also gives me time to record and to edit. And as I posted a very brief video where I wasn't editing while I was filming it, I was just showing a progress of it, and it was a very long video, and I was about a third way through editing it. So there will be that is a sort of a side project. It's not really a Let's Play per se. It's something different that I'm trying out, also because I want to get more into editing. Not that I want to stop making videos. Obviously, I have to have videos to edit. So that is basically a sort of not a side gig, but basically I'm trying something new. And it's not a Let's Play. It's that's something different, and it requires a lot more editing. So that's really all I can say about that. But I'm tempted to make another update video when I know how my semester is going to look like. So basically going in and saying, right now I don't know my schedule. Sure, I have most of January off depending on how much work I'll get, but I don't have I don't know that I will have work every week, for example. So there is that. Whether with school, you pretty much know that you need to be there the next week, and the next week, and the next week. Then there's holiday, and then the next week, and then the next week, and then... And hopefully I can sort of make that a lighter burden on myself, so that I can focus 100% on this exam. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if that's possible. I will definitely argue that that's how it should be, because the other parts of the education is to get these certifications, and these certifications last 5 years, and since it has only been 1 year, well, they should still be viable, and I shouldn't have to do this unless there are major changes, which I don't think. But, I mean, if that's the case, I will take that as it comes. So, I can't really say much about the videos of 2020, 2022. I hope to be able to make a steady output of videos, but as of yet, I cannot really promise anything. But yeah, I'm staying positive, and I'm staying healthy, and I'm staying secluded in my flat, going out only when I have to, so relatively all's good. I mean, yeah, it's uncertain, but it always has been. Can't really do much about it, other than, getting the best out of it, I suppose. So, yeah, I think that's it for this vlog. It's longer than usual, but I feel like with 2021 being as it was, there was a lot to say. So, yeah. In any case, that's it for this vlog. Look out for potentially another vlog, an update down the line, maybe February, maybe March, somewhere around that. And if not, then, well, look out for my next video. And see you then. Bye!